Now, if you've never logged into OneNote, you have to have a Microsoft account to use OneNote, because what the main feature of OneNote is to share your data or to put your data up in the cloud, so that no matter where you're at, you don't necessarily share it with anybody else, but you can, it's saying no matter where you're at, if I'm at home or I'm at work, I can use my information. Okay, it doesn't matter if I'm using the same PC or not, I can use my information. Also, if I have a laptop, or if I have an iPad, or if I have an Apple phone, or any kind of phone, if I wanted to use my retrieve information that I've already stored, then I can have it. And that's the main reason OneNote was produced. It was produced as a fast way, putting things up in the cloud, and I can get it wherever. Now, based on what you're using, what I'm using here is a OneNote, which was, and the new name is OneNote, but a lot of times you will hear the term OneNote 16, which were, and OneNote 13. OneNote 13 was the original OneNote that was developed, and it changed as it got, okay? The OneNote that I'm using is based on Microsoft 10 and Windows 10. In other words, when I purchase my laptop and I have the operating system for my laptop, then it will have by default a OneNote based on the operating system that you're using. Okay, you can update that. As a matter of fact, mine really need updating, because the OneNote that I have came with Windows 10, but now they have a new OneNote. Okay, if you look at my screen, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, if you look at my screen, really and truthfully, if you look at the newer version, like I said, there's one more version. The only thing about it, when you start updating your OneNote, it's an application that's based on the operating system. So you have to really understand the settings and stuff of your operating system, which is very technical. So you have to be careful on how you do it. I haven't upgraded my OneNote, even though for my Windows 10, there is a new OneNote, but you can. Okay, do you know which version of OneNote you're using? Do anybody know which version of the OneNote they're using?
I don't.
Because it'll look a little different. Can you get into OneNote now? Or do you not have a, like I said, you have to have a Microsoft user account. And most of the time, yes, it's your work account, or you can have a personal account. Okay, if you get into it, do your screen look similar to mine or a little different? Now, the newer version would actually have the exact ribbon that you have with Word and Excel. I have similar. I have the home, I have the insert ribbon, the draw ribbon, and the view ribbon. You would actually have, if you have the new version, you have a file menu here also. You have different menus, so it'll look a little different. Okay, so what I'm going to show you, that the terms that they use might be a little different than the one that you have it using, or the one that any of you guys are using out there. It might be a little different, but you're doing the same thing. What OneNote is saying is that I have a place, a notebook that I can take notes on. It doesn't matter what that notes is, video, audio, speech, drawing, it doesn't matter. But I have a notebook, and in that notebook, I'm going to take things and I'm going to put it on the shelf. Okay, and as I need it, I can pull it down. I don't care where I'm at, I'm going to pull it down from the shelf. I'll be able to share it with other people. We're not going to share ours with other people. I'm going to be putting myself on the cloud as I go, but I'm not going to share it, because once you start sharing, of course, you're going to take up internet access and space, and I don't want my computer to lock down. But I am going to be putting things in the cloud as I go. Okay, the older versions of, especially when you had the OneNote 16. OneNote 16. One of the disadvantages of OneNote 16 is that you really couldn't save on your hard drive. You really had to send everything to the cloud. Well, people are afraid of losing things, and I understand that. I'm a techie person. I don't fear that, because I know what the cloud is and I know how to work on the cloud. But people in the office settings especially don't want to lose their information. So a lot of time they would want to do something in OneNote, but want to make sure that it's captured on their hard drive, on their PCs, their laptops, or whatever. If you have OneNote 16, you can't put it on your machine itself. Okay, it's automatically going to the cloud. It doesn't give you a chance to put it to your hard drive. If you have what we call the OneNote, which is what I have now, OneNote, the older version I have of OneNote, or the newest version of the OneNote, what actually happens is every time you do something, it saves it to your hard drive in your OneNote folder, but at the same time, it saves it to your cloud. So you're going to see a lot of times while you're working, you're going to have a little dialogue that's spinning around. It's called syncing. And what it's doing is syncing up your hard drive and your cloud to have the same information all the time. If not, you would be trying to work on something from the hard drive and it's not really updated, or you try to work from the cloud and it's not the same as the hard drive. So what you're going to be doing, and that's an automatic thing. You don't do anything, and you'll notice as you're working and it's going to spin. It's synchronizing your cloud with your hard drive. Okay, but that feature is not in Open Notes. OneNote 16. So keep that in mind based on what you have. That it's not updating your hard drive. If you're doing OneNote 16, it's only updating that cloud. Okay. Now, what you have here is you have a blank screen, a piece of paper, a tablet, however you want to call it. And for each one of those, you can have dividers of your tablet, or you can have 2 or 3 different notebooks, however you want. And at the bottom of my screen, I can add, when I add a section, that's kind of like adding a new book. Okay. When I add a page, that's adding a page in my book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the first thing I'm going to add is I'm going to add a section. Okay, the quick note, by default, it comes with a quick note section. You can see my quick note section. That's just a default section. When I create mine, then I deleted all my things so that I could start from scratch to show you how it would be. But I always start with a new one here. I don't use that quick notes because it's automatic stuff. But I like to come up with a new notebook. In other words, for everything that I do, I got my own notebook. So let's just say for this notebook, I'm going to call this notebook my classes. In other words, these are the different classes I'm going to have. So I'm going to say classes. Okay. Now, for each, you know how when you have a tablet and it has the dividers? So what you can do is you can say, well, in my class, this notebook is called a class. I have a divider. Each divider represents a different class. My first class, let's say this class is a math class. So I'm going to put math here. So this class here represents anything that I'm doing in math. Okay. You can do, let's say if this is a math class, then I'm going to do some math notes. Now I'm going to be going back and forth between the inserts to show you the different things that you can do. Of course, if it's a math, then I'm dealing with my symbols. So let's just say I'm going to add these symbols so that my people can do some equation's going to be here, or I can come down here and I can add that I'm going to do a symbol, and it's going to be, well, I'm going to do my new equation here. And if you notice, let me move my thing around. I have different equations that you can put. So this is just for my math. This is what I'm going to be doing. That's a math equation. So that's my math notebook. So that's my notebook, and I got math in it. So I can do it in my note. While I'm doing this, remember, mine's is saving offline right now because I didn't log in. I can actually click on it to tell it to save, but I hadn't logged into my thing, so it won't sync now. So I'm not going to let mine sync because I'm going to be deleting this anyway, so I don't want it to sync. But you see here, this is the save. It's trying to save it. It automatically, by default, you don't have a save button on this. By default, it automatically tries to save everything that you're doing, okay? But because what I did is I came offline. I don't have an internet connection here, even though I'm on the internet. I closed out all of my internet things so it won't sync. I don't want it to sync because I'm just going to delete this anyway. So I have my math thing. So let's just say, well, I did math. Now I want to have a science class. So I'm going to add a page to this same tablet I have, the same notebook I have. This class is going to be called science. So this is my science functions. Okay. Again, now this is my paper. This is the tab that I have called science. And now these are the pages that I'm going to add to this site. So for science, let's say we're going to add a table. So we're just going to put a table here. That's the table that I want. So that table would go here. So I would say my day 1, 2, 1, things that I'm going to do. Day 2, things that I'm going to do. And the day 3 things. So now I want to stop here. And I want, if you can you get into, can everybody get into their cloud and get into their OneNote?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to OneNote. Let's add a notebook, which is class is my notebook, and let's add some sections to that. Okay, and you're gonna see that all the features that we did when we're learning Word, we're gonna be able to do these same features in this in our OneNote. Okay, because it's just that's what it is. It's a notebook. So let's see if you can do that. Add you some sections and add some pages to that section. Give you about 5 minutes to see if we can do that. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to do a little pool. What OneNote do everybody have? Do everybody know it? Rebecca, do your screen look like mine? Is it similar?
It looks similar to it. It has file, note, insert, draw, history,
Okay.
review.
Since yours have file, but it's telling me if you have the file menu, that's telling me your version is the newest version. It's on 10. It's on Windows 10, but it's the newest version
Okay.
of Windows 10 OneNote. Okay. Mine don't have it because I haven't updated that. Okay. And if you notice that file, if you click on that file menu, and even all of your menus look very much like you're in Word, right?
Right.
Barbara, I know you wanted to know OneNote. You're very interested. Are you still there?
I am. I just came back on and I tried to catch back up. And I went in and I logged into OneNote and I actually make my screen look like yours. Mine says OneNote for 10, just like yours does. And mine looks like yours.
Okay, if yours don't have the file link, let me tell you what's gonna happen now. Make sure over the next month you upload your change. You make sure you put a new change in there because this version here, I have it on this laptop, but I have the new ones on my other one. I just haven't updated.
Now I
This
have a
version,
question. I had
uh-huh.
when I actually went to my app, my menu, it had, it had like OneNote and it had OneNote. It had two different versions, like the two different
Okay,
versions.
that's
So
what it is. Yeah, and that's
So
good.
should I have selected the other one instead of the one I selected?
You can use either one for right now, but the main difference in it is the new one, and somebody's probably already threw that out in your division. Is the new one is the one that's going to be supported. In other words, if you have a problem, you can call Microsoft about it.
Oh, okay.
The version that I have now, after a month or two, I think it's about 2 more months, they're going to stop supporting it. In other words, you still can use it, but if you call and you ask questions, they're not going to answer your questions. Whereas with the newer version, they'll answer questions that you have because they got some different features in the way the features look.
Let me ask you this: if you're using a new, older version and you switch over, will your information transfer over to the newer version?
Yes, if you have an older version and you go into the newer version, it will switch over.
Okay.
But if you have what we call the OneNote here, and you have trying to go back to OneNote 16, those are not compatible. But the OneNotes that you have is based on Windows 10, and all the OneNotes of Windows 10, even though they're different versions, they're all compatible.
Okay.
Were you able to, you said you were able to log in? See if you can make a couple of sections and stuff.
I did. I made one.
Is your document uploaded? In other words, it's syncing, or you're already in? If you're already online and you're in your cloud, then it'll sync. Okay.
How will I know if it's syncing?
Okay, look up here. Look where my mouse pointer is pointing to.
I got you. Yeah, I see.
That's just your page sync.
Okay.
It'll tell you the status of it.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And you really want that before you come out, before you close down, make sure it's synced, and it'll tell you it's sync to the last one. And that way the documents that are on your hard drive is also in your cloud.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Rebecca, you were able to do that, right?
Yes.
And Rebecca said she opened up the newest version because yeah, they will. If your IT personnel is pushing out updates automatically, you know how sometimes you get a Microsoft update, then this is one of the Microsoft updates that they automatically do. I just have it blocked so it won't update mine automatically. Okay. Now, let's say I wanted to add, I have to move my screen around a little bit. Another class. Okay. So again, because that's part of that same notebook, then I'm just adding a page. And let's say I'm going to add a art class. This is going to be for my art students. Now, once you use Notebook, you'll understand how it's tied together with Word and how it's tied together with all of Microsoft products, because it is a Microsoft product and they try to standardize it. to me, this feature is really good. What I'm going to do, because if you're in an art class, then the feature that you'll use most is, of course, the drawing. Okay, it's according to what you want to do for your paper or in your notebook. Okay, so I'm going to draw something. Let's say I'm going to use this, and I'm going to write out the word, draw out hello. I'm not good with this because now if you have a stencil, a stylus, or if you're in a something that has like a surf that you can do with your fingers touchable, then it's really easy to do this. I don't right now. I'm just using my regular laptop, so I'm drawing this with my hand, and it's so. But what I want to show you, okay, I'm in art. I'm doing my art. Let's say, okay, for the artist, that's good, but we want to make sure that that can be converted to text also. So if you draw something and then you capture that drawing, or you lasso that drawing, okay? And lasso that drawing is kind of like if you ever used the paint software a long time ago, the little application that we paint, it's the same features. And let's see if I can pull this all the way over. So I'll lasso that, right? Now, I can take what I have in ink and turn it to text. And what I'm doing is I have that in ink and I click on link to text, and now I have my text version. So then I can actually start typing and working on this here. I didn't grab all of my things when I lassoed it, but that's a good function. When you use your drawing, you can draw any style that you would usually do when you're in a paint function. Okay, so you can just use any of your colors and change it to, and you can also use the erase function, which is a good function to let you erase the text that you have. This right here has been trained to check text, so it's not going to change. But if I go in and I say I'm going to just write something like Abby, and I try to erase it because it's still actual drawing, that I can change it. That's hello is no longer a drawing. That's an actual text there for me. Okay. So that would be some of the things that you could do if you wanted to do something that was creative with your arts. You can still do your italicize. You can do anything that you want to do. Okay. Now, you should be able to, now let me come out of here. And you should be able to type something. Let me go down here. I probably won't be able to do it. I don't know. It's not. I didn't got into my thing. And change any function you want into the text. It'll try to recognize it. No matter how bad your drawing is, it will try to recognize it. Okay. Now let's say I want to add another page. And this page is going to be for my speech class. Okay. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to do my speech class. I can rename it because I hit enter too quick. Now let's do speech class. And some of these functions make you be lazy. So if I go, let's see if I can get it here. Okay, in my view screen, and like I said, the functions that you have in Word, you have in OneNote. So here, I'm going to turn this on. That's not the one I wanted to do here. If I wanted to type this, is the beginning. Here. So if I do my inverse reading, play it. So if someone sends you some notes and it's a long page of notes, you can take whatever they have on that item and you can actually read that item for you. so it'll actually read that item for you. This is the beginning. Okay, similar to your word that you were using. Also, let me see if I can move by. I got so much on my screen. Let's say I'm going to do a new item here. And in this item, I actually want to be lazy and just talk. This is the beginning of my new speech. So as I start this class, I will have this speech to start with. Okay. So now, when I click on it, everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, so now try to use a couple of those functions. Try to create your page and add you some things to your page. You add to it? Everything going okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now, of course, as our busy life goes, we'll see that our OneNote will grow and grow over time. And you don't want everything in the same notebook. So always, like I said, you're based on which version you have a different name for it, but every notebook in here is called a section. So I'm going to create a new section. And let's say this section is going to be my cooking section. Okay. So every time I have a new recipe, I put it here. And let's say this first one is going to be lemon pie. And this is really why it's not necessarily the type-in features that make OneNote so excited to everybody. The main feature is the audio and the video features that it adds. So we can do multitask. And a good thing when it first started, one of the hot items was your recipe, and it read things to you while you're cooking. So on this one, if I say I'm on step one, I add the two, I add 1 cup of sugar. Then I add 3, I add stick of butter. Okay. Yeah, I did that. Then the good feature of this is that when I come over here for this recipe here, I have these things. I'm gonna cook this, but at the time that I'm cooking, I don't want to be going back and forth trying to read. So again, you have the features so that you can actually, I can't get all my, your reader, and that reader has really made OneNote and Hot Item because we multitask. So as we get ready to cook, we have our stuff up ready to cook, then we start our plate. Okay, so you see the benefit of this product that we have here. And the thing is, this product can link to your cell phone. And that's why everybody's so hot and like, oh, good, because you can have that recipe at any time. You go to your cloud, open up your laptop or your iPad or what do you have? Open up your note, your OneNote, and then you're ready to start. You notice here, my computer's syncing now. I got back online so it can sync. So it's updating all the time. You don't save in OneNote. It's automatically saved for you. There's no certain thing as a save button. It's automatically going to be saving it and linking it at all times. But that's one of the issues that, I mean, one of the good thing of it is that you add so many extra features to it. And those features follow you wherever you go. They're not just on your laptop. They're not just on your iPad. They're on any of your devices, and it can be used anywhere. So if you're at home and you're like, I want to make a lemon pie. Okay, let me go up and get my lemon pie recipe. Now let me cook. I don't have it two hands. I can't cook and do this. So then you have that audio and that video. Another one I use a lot is I add a section, and that section can be vacation. So of course with vacation, put a page in here. I'm going to say this is my picture of, let's say summer vacation. I'm going to say my summer vacation. So then when I'm here, of course, if you're doing a vacation, the biggest thing about vacationing is being able to add pictures. You can add pictures, you can add online videos. If you have a picture that is from a camera, you can save that your camera to your hard drive or connect your camera to your machine and print it from that. Or let's just say I have some online pictures that I wanted to do. It was for vacation. Some online things that I want to do that I can, this is not changing for me. Change it. And for my online pictures, I can go over here and search online. And I'm just going to type in vacation. And if I click on a picture, then that picture becomes part of my tablet for my vacation, and it's going to sync to my cloud. Okay. This function is very good for those that break their iPhones all the time. You know how we take pictures with our iPhone, and then next month we break our iPhone, so we lose our pictures. So this is one of the things that I see a lot of people doing is they come back from a vacation, they create this tablet or this notebook or something with all their pictures that they have. By default, it's going to uplink to the cloud. Now, because it's uplinked to the cloud, your pictures are always there. Now, the good thing about the cloud, based on what type of cloud you have, and most business functions have clouds that are unlimited storage. In other words, you can just keep saving and saving, because you know one of the biggest thing about taking all those pictures is when you try to save them somewhere, save them on a thumb drive, save them on next thing you know, you run out of space. Okay. With the cloud, and even if you even if you're on your iPad, you'll notice when you're taking pictures or you're on your phone, you're taking pictures, that cloud is limited. You have to pay extra a little bit more. Well, you can, if you have a personal Microsoft account, then you add to that by adding, you pay more, but those pictures can be on that cloud. And that cloud will interact, pull over your pictures from your camera, and that way you'll have it. Okay. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? Going okay? Now,
Yes.
again, just like Word, so any other things that I want to add to it, for example, let's say we want to insert some, one of the things that I know people really do, and I'm gonna try to do this, I don't know, based on me sharing my screen, I might not be able to do this, but in that cook, one thing that we use OneNote is for is to share information. And based on what you want to share, beyond what you want to share, if you go click on this share folder, okay. Now this is important. This share folder needs to be somebody or an address that you know of. Okay. Um, so I'm just gonna see if I can share it to my email address. I don't know if it's gonna let me do it because my screen and everything. Let's just do my Liberty account. My account that I'm gonna share it to, and I can tell it I want to send a copy of this page. I'm going to send it to their things. Okay. Now, because now Liberty is the school that I'm going to, they might have it blocked, but this is how you would do to send that page. And it's telling you what you're sending, but I don't think it's going to let me send that. So it's not. No, don't access my calendar. No, no, don't access that. And it should send it to that person. Should send it to my email address. And that's what you hear everybody. So let me come out of here. Everybody love OneNote about. It's the fact that you got things in different places and you're sending it to different places. Okay. So I want to stop here and see if you can actually send OneNote, since you don't have my, like I said, I'm a limited function sharing my screen, but see if you can send something to either somebody else in your office or another device that you have. See if you can send that to your email account or something like that, because that's what you really need to be doing with OneNote. That's what OneNote is all about, doing all these creative things. And but you can insert it. Okay. Let's do that for 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll use some more insert things. You can insert a video, and I'll show you how to insert that online video. In 5 minutes, we'll do an online video. But everything that you can do in Word, Microsoft Word, you can do in this one. So any type of functions that you can do, you notice if you're in your insert screen, you can insert pictures, you can do online, you can link things just like you would be. Okay. Remember though, when we're linking, be careful of the sites that you link to, because once it opens, it can bring in a virus. So that's my disclaimer to anybody that does a lot of linking. So let's give it 5 minutes to see if you can share something, and then we'll go over and do some more inserting. Okay. Okay, were you able to share any of your information?
Yes.
Okay. Barbara, did you get it? Were you able to share it? 'Cause I know you were interested in OneNote. Hey, Barbara, are you there? She probably stepped out for a minute. She had sent me a text, I mean a chat, and I want to make sure she was there before I do it. Put a note in the chat. Yeah, I know that Rebecca was able to do it. Was everybody else able to share any information? Rebecca, you said had you ever used Note before?
No, I haven't, but I will. I like it.
I like it too. I like it for it's a good note taking feature. And just being able to have everything everywhere you want it, but I have to carry around a lot of notebooks and a lot of tablets. Um, if I can I add one more, add a function for her. Barbara had a question.
And When we get ready to save this, is there a file name? How do
It's
we
not
do
a
a file
you
name?
don't save it. Nothing, it's
Oh,
automatically being saved. As you do things, it's automatically being saved. When you want it,
so
when
once
you
I
open
close
up
this
notebook,
up,
it'll come back up again, and I'll show you in a few minutes. And
okay,
the reason mine was empty is I actually deleted all my stuff because this is my training. When I have another OneNote, that's my personal OneNote, but this is my training
okay,
OneNote. When as you doing things, it's automatically saving on your hard drive and automatically saving in your cloud. When you open up OneNote is going to go to your cloud and get what's in your cloud, and you're going to work for it. That's why I say you have to be syncing back and forth. And the reason to save it on your hard drive also is for like a backup, and that's only if you have the new OneNote for Windows 10. The OneNote 16 doesn't automatically save to the hard drive for a backup. But yeah, you don't have to
okay,
save it all, and I'll show you when I come out of mine. Just make sure I'll show you. I'll come out of mine first, and then go back in it so you can see how it is. Now I think
okay,
that's the scariest part because you get okay, what's the name of it? Where's it at? Well, it's up there in the cloud. That's where it's at. That's what you're dealing with. So when you open it back up, when you open OneNote up, as long as you log into your user account, it's all based on user account. So if you have multiple user accounts, which some do, and I do have a different user account, then you have to log into that user account and be saving it to that. That's where it's saving it to. If you come out and you open up another user account, what you did in that other user account won't be there. Okay. Now you can
okay,
sync from one user account to another, but you have to be careful with that, especially like you said, you're not naming it. So what's really naming these features is these sections, like the sections for the add a section. It's really naming something like a tablet or a folder called um, classes and cooking and vacation. So if I had another username or another address that I could do, and mine would name class and cooking vacation, what it would do when I try to go back and forth, I would and merge them. I would actually write on top of my other ones. If they were named, the sections were named the exact same. So, but
okay,
that's only if you have two different usernames, two different, and those are Microsoft users, two different Microsoft usernames, then that would be. But usually you just have one and everything going over and over. And this book can get really big. As we start
okay.
for over years, this book will get really big. You can delete anything you want on it, or you could just keep growing it, but it can get big. Then you get for her chat. So what I'm gonna do? Let me just come out of here and come back in and show you what it's gonna do. Um, if I close out of this, it's gonna tell me I stopped sharing, and that's okay. Um, and if I go, what I'm doing is all I'm doing is going to start, and I'm going to my OneNote again. And let me share it again. Share. Share it. Go back into OneNote. And you see it, Rebecca, now? It's the exact same thing where I was at. Even though I closed it out, I
Right.
didn't have to hit save. I didn't have to hit anything. I just closed it out and it automatically has the stuff that I have when I go back into it.
Okay.
But make sure before you close out, you look at your sync button here. And if it's a check on that sync button, or some of them might be a green. If it's green or a check, that means it has updated whatever you're doing on your hard drive and memory to the cloud itself. You can see that.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Let's see. Yeah. If Barbara was still online, so I could. We're going to chat. Okay. Now, Barbara, let me see what we're going to do. Let's go into, I'm going to create a book. In other words, I'm adding another section, and it's going to be kind of like what we did in the Word. It's going to be my how-to section, how-to book. And I wanted to do how to the house. Let's say how to. So this page right here, let's say it's going to be called book. How to build a house. So here, I want to go find a video that will tell me how to build a house. So when you're inserting online, it's just like the other. You have to have a video, the actual URL. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find a URL, and it shows you once you. This is a little bit different from where, because once you actually put it in there, it'll let you know. It'll show you whether that's supported. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to online, and let me find a video, and I'm gonna call that video how to build a house. How to build a house. I want that on YouTube because YouTube is the best one as far as being compatible. Oh, that's not a YouTube, so that's not gonna go. Very careful with your names or your things. So sometimes it'll tell you that it's gonna go to YouTube, but pay attention to the once you get there, you have the URL. Pay attention to it because most of the YouTube is hidden behind a Bing file, BING file, and that file will not be used. I found this one that's called How to Build a House Without Borrowing Money. So I'm going to do a copy control on that, and then I'm going to go back into my Zoom to my notes, and I'm going to drop that down on here, Control V, check and see if it's supported, and it runs to make sure it's supported. And I'll do okay. Okay, now that video is there, so I can actually play that video. Okay, Barbara, did you see that? Is that what you were looking for? If you take a video and you have one that you've actually created, if you go pictures from file, it'll actually pull that that video into your thing. So that could help you doing whatever you need to do. Right now, we've been running for about 2 hours. Let's take a 10-minute break. And when we get back, it's going to be all on what features that you want me to show you here. Additional, if you want to go back to Word to pick up some new features. The features here is exactly like the features in Word because it is based on Office Word. But I want us to be able to manipulate it and play around with it. So let's take a 10-minute break. And I'm going to put my thing on mute, but I'm still going to be around. And then we're going to do some things on how to do this or how to do that. Anything that you need that could help you do better in Word, do better in OneNote. I want to make sure that I've answered your questions. I take my my teaching very serious. If you notice, I don't just lecture. I want to make sure, yes, before you finish, yes, I can do it. Yes, I tried to do it and it did work, or it didn't. So let's just keep doing it again. So let's take a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back and do some things that'll help you on some specific problems that you have. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Is everybody back?
Yes.
Now, this video, before we just do a review, this video here was a video that I actually pulled from the URL. If we wanted to, we can actually, let me come out, get a new, my new workspace. Your workspace is wherever you put your, now if you put it too close to your dialogue, it's adding it to that section. So here, I'm going to put my insert point here. Now, based on the video and how you save the video, if you save it like a regular file with just a different extension, you can actually insert an attachment or file. And if you had a video, I don't think I have any videos that I've actually taken, but if you have some videos that you've taken and you clicked on that, let's see if I have downloaded some videos. I don't think I've had. Let's just say if that was a video here, then if you click on it, then too big. That file is really big. But if you click on that and press enter, then that file will be right there. But it's based on what kind of video you have. Like if you had a video that you actually took from the camera, and you know a lot of times we snap videos from in our camera. If we actually have our camera and take that video and save it, you can either save it to your hard drive and push it from there, or you can have your phone, your camera, with your phone, go into that video and grab that video and drop it there. But it's just like a regular attachment, a regular file to it. Okay. So let's kind of do some things in it, but and talk about it as we go. I'm gonna move over here a little bit. It said based on what the version that I'm using is the Windows 10 OneNote. Okay. It's the older OneNote because I can tell that because the newer version has the file, home, and all of the different things that any like Word or, and when we get into Excel and Access, you're gonna know for Excel and PowerPoint, you'll notice that all of Microsoft tabs are the same, and so it makes it easy for you to remember where things are at. And that's what the newer version was doing. The newer version was saying, okay, now we see that more people are going to use this application. So let's put this application in line with all of our other applications. So if you have the newest version, you will notice up here, and those screens are the same screens or 90% of the same items that you saw in when we're dealing with Word, okay? Mine's a little bit different. It has some options, but not as much, okay? So I can actually do this just like I would do a Word document. I can insert things. The best thing to think about it as, and really and truthfully, it's one more section here. If you had the new version, you have what we called a book, and the book has sections and then the sections have pages. Okay. For mine, I start out with my section as my notebook, and then I put pages. So yours might be, if you have 3 items here, 3 lines here, that means you have a book here, and that book can break in to something else. You just go ahead on and you can just add a section. When you add a section, you're adding a different whole spot. So when I type this in, let's see what I've done, my classes, my how to book. Let's just say we're doing some class notes, some notes for this. Okay. So you have another book here. Once you have a book here, it opens it up. Everything's blank. So then you have to make sure that you realize that, okay, I have to save this as another something. And if what I'm saving it as a page, I have to give that page a name. So notes for students, attendance policy. So I'm gonna say attendance. In other words, and then I come here and I say, be late. So, miss but 5 days. So when I click out of there, then I have this section, this little notebook. This added to that page. That page, I have a page about attendance. I can add another page down here. That's here, and I want to say for my attendance, keep going to that. Or if I wanted to, in this same notebook, I want to add another page to my notebook. Attendance, let's say attendance, and let's just say room. Here again, I have another page in that one book, and let's say cheating. Right. I continue to go on. With this insert, you can insert the same type of things that we use. We can actually insert. And what a printout is, let's say, if I have, let me go here. PDF file. And let's see if I got any PDF files on here. That's not too big. You want to make sure that, again, you got unlimited spaces, but you don't want your stuff to be too cluttered. So let's see what I have. No, that's not gonna be, that's a big one. That's a PDF file. Let's do this PDF file here. So now the good thing about this is once you, and that's why I say make sure it's not too big, is because what happens when you insert a PDF file is it goes into that PDF file and it opens it and it puts all your things here. So if you are taking a class or you are giving a class and you got different things that you want to put in on your cloud so that you can see it without having to save this file and that file, but you want it all into your notebook, then when you save that or when you pull that in, you can see. Okay, so now this is the actual document, which is called my course syllabus. So now I can put that in here without having to say, okay, in my cloud is a file that's saved called employment law status. I can remember that. But now in my notebook, I go around no matter what I'm doing in my notebook. Let's say I'm here in my notebook. Now I want to see what my syllabus is. I go to my thing and I actually have my attendance that I can look at. I have my rule I can look at. So that's the printout of it. In other words, you have a printout of the document itself. That could be, it's good for your PDF files because PDF files, unless you have PDF writers, it's hard to change PDF files, but on this one, now that I have it, I don't have to have a PDF writer to do it. I can actually go in and add some information that I want to add to my file or something, however I want to type on my file. Okay, so I can just do what I want to do with that one file. So it's a printout of that file. Everybody see that? That's a good input into your system. We went into actually the audio, which you just save a file. The good thing about doing it to the cloud is audio and video files are very, very big. So you'll notice that a lot of times when you start saving a lot of audio files on your hard drives or your thumb drives, you easily run out of space. Plus, it's hard to share audio and video files unless you share them to your OneDrive. So this is a way that you already have them there that you can send them up, and if somebody needs to share that file or send that file, you can share that page or that folder, and it'll bring over that file without having to try to compress the file. Or because a long time ago we used to compress videos, compress audio, and the hardest thing about compressing files is uncompressing them when a person gets them. A lot of times it's not exactly what we thought that file was going to be, or it's going to be corrupt or something. But this is a good way to do that. My favorite, what I do for my granddaughter is I'll create, I'm the educator, I'll call her, I'm like, what you did for your homework and stuff. And one of the things that I love to do for her is give her stickers. So what I could do, let me just create a new folder here. Here. a new page. I mean, not a folder, new page, and it's called Good Job. And when I do good job here, go down here, I can actually insert some different stickers, you know, and I can say, hey, you get this sticker today. And then I can be here and I can say, I can send that to her email and share that. So she'll see, hey, grandmama thought I did really good. So this is a good thing to do. OneNote is all about sharing. Now, OneNote is not the only application out there that can do this. You might hear the term EvenNote or GoodNote. Those are old or original applications that were used for notebook sharing, information sharing, but it's not embedded with a universal application. So OneNote is embedded with Word, Windows 10, so people can easily use them once they learn that type of environment. If you learn the Word environment, the Office Suite environment, then OneNote makes it easier for you to do. It's easier to communicate with it too. OneNote is totally based on the cloud. So now when you do things, you're automatically throwing up in the cloud. You're not worried about where it's going, so that when you are at a different place, or if you do have a iPad or a laptop that's new, then once you open up that OneNote again, everything that you had is now in that notebook that you have now. You don't have to worry about, okay, I got a new laptop. I got to make sure I want to save all my files, I want to save all my folders and do it. So that's one good feature. That's one feature I really like, because I hate getting a new laptop and then trying to remember all the folders and files I had on that notebook. You don't have to do that with this one. If you're throwing them all up into that notebook, into the cloud, it's going to come back down. Okay. Let's see. So you can do some meeting details. In other words, you just signing. This actually connects with your Microsoft Office your email notebook. I mean, your email calendar, and you can put your agendas here, your meeting details here. I'm not going to bring all of it down because my calendar is really full, so you'll show it. But that's if you like to have or like to know what all your things are, without having to have it on your phone, where you're only on your phone for your messaging. This will be a good way that you can sign into your thing here. And again, you have to make sure when you do things like this, you're signing in with a Microsoft account, which either could be a personal account or it could be one that you have for yourself. But you use the same address, you use the same account, because if you have multiple accounts, they're not syncing together. They're not thinking they're the same thing. So they're going to keep them separate for you. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We did the symbols. I am a researcher. In other words, I'm working on dissertation, working on papers. This feature here is really good for researchers. In other words, if you're going to go out and try to find documents or research papers or tables that some researchers have, you can actually find those and pull those in. Again, if you notice this statement here, it's telling you they're pulling in bin files, BING files. Bin files have been known to have viruses, so just be careful. If you trust the research paper, or you trust the person that created what you're bringing, then it's okay to just grab something off the web or off anything. But make sure you trust that person, because you can have problems with it. Also, be very careful when you're doing cutting, pasting, creating something that you're gonna share with other people. If you got it from Bing or you got it from somewhere else, if it's a confidentiality or if it's copyrighted, then you really can't put it on your side, put it up into the cloud, let other people pull it from the cloud, because that's not your information. So that's one of the things that you want to watch out for, copyright. And also when you create some things you want to be copyrighted. You don't want people taking it for you. I went over the draw fixture. This draw feature is the same draw feature that's in Word, Excel. It's actually it was originated from the original Microsoft Paint. So when you see these features, it's going to be something that you're used to using, used to inserting, same kind of shapes. We've done these shapes before, you know, how you do your lines, your graphs, your spaces. So these are some things that you're used to looking at. That's the draw. The view, it's similar to most views. The good thing about this view is, of course, you have something that can read to you, which is a good thing to have. The translator here, and but the translator is built on different languages, and it can translate it to a different language. You just select what you want to do, and let's say, if I can get to the web, my fingers have hard time getting to the web. So let's change it from English to French. That's a good way to have documents. And I know a lot of times people work international and it's like, well, how do people learn so many different languages? Microsoft has really done a good way in all of its applications. You will see this happening in Word, Excel, uh, any of them, where you can actually have a document that you have in the English language and you can translate that. A good one that we see a lot of times with our Spanish translator, because when you're teaching at a lot of these major universities, they have a lot of second speaking English as their second language. So you want to take whatever you have and change it to the language you're speaking with, but you have no time and you don't have no desire to learn that many different languages. Microsoft does it for you. So this is a good way of sharing things in a different language, translating it over with, and I like that. I particularly like that feature, especially for my Chinese students and for my Spanish students. And you see a lot of those where I can take a syllabus, a whole document, my syllabus, and put it in multiple languages. Okay, just in case you're running into that problem, that's a good feature to have. This feature I just showed you is also going to be in Word. It's also in Word too. So if you need to learn something in Word, change it over to a new language, there's no problems. Okay. Do you have any questions or problems or concerns out there?
No.
I wanted to take time now and first of all, just let you play around with this OneNote and ask me questions. Find out something that you tried to do and you couldn't do, or you want to try to do and don't know how to do it. And at the same time, we can go back and forth between Word and the OneNote. So I'm here to help you work on things. I don't have any new items to teach you, but I do want to make sure that you know the items that we're covering. And the only way you can do that is by playing around with them a little bit. So if you don't mind, take the next, time that we have together and let's just make sure we got these items down good. Especially, I know we had some issues with some word things. I think Shanina wanted to do the table of contents, but you didn't get a chance to, you saw it, but you didn't get a chance to do it. If you want to go back and try to do it now and let me know if you have problems with it. Rebecca, would you have anything that you were having problems with that you would like to go back and you can just take your time and try it. And then if you can't do it, let me know. I'm here. Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else out there got some things that they want to use or do? Now, for now, I'm gonna spend let you about 15 minutes and looking at some things that you want to do in OneNote. So any questions, play around with OneNote for about 15 minutes. And then I want to go back into Word and see if there's anything in Word. Now that maybe I did a feature here that you wanted to do the same thing in a Word document. And we'll go back to the Word because we're just gonna do some hands-on things for right now. So for 15 minutes, look at what you got in your in OneNote. You can chat. I'll be checking my chat. Uh, or you can, yeah, just send me a chat uh, or I'll be here. I hear you. I won't mute. So you have a question, just say, hey, let's try this. Let's do this. Okay. So 15 minutes in OneNote, and then we're gonna go back to our word. Okay. I'm gonna mute myself so you won't hear any sounds, but I am here. Hey, Rebecca, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, then. All right, I'm going to talk about it, but I don't really want to go into any details. But one of the sections that is in OneNote, hello, my screen is the what we call the class notes. This is one that the educators have really beamed around and focused around as far as using OneNote because it actually can set up different classes and you can change those classes and put those classes and enter student names, student grades and stuff. It's a feature that they use, but I tell them to be careful about this feature because we have to remember that whatever we're doing is going to the cloud. And if you have things that you don't want to share, like student ID numbers, student security numbers and stuff, I recommend that the class note is not a good way to store stuff like that. It's a good way to store stuff like, let's say we lectured on something, we want to distribute that out to all the students that's in the class so that they know what the lecture notes are. In other words, especially if it's a virtual class and you want to make sure all of them know the information, then that's a good way to throw it up there, distribute it out and pass it on down. But it's not a good way to store your information that's considered to be confidentiality, okay? And be really careful about that. It is a cloud, it is protected, but things just happen. We know people attack our clouds, people attack us, our university systems, our colleges and things all the time. So we have to really be careful on what we put in some of the things. And the class notebook has been one of the things that has been attacked most awfully because of the fact that universities and colleges and educators use it a lot to store things, but they should be only using it to store educational things, technology that use lecture notes or things that they put down the display. Don't use it to store confidential things like students' name or even in your clients. If you had clients' names, client phone numbers, all that, don't use that for that. And that's really one of the things I want you to understand about this application and really every application, but this application, the fact that you're throwing it up on the cloud 24/7 every time that you're in it. Now you can make it so it doesn't sync, but that takes away from the security of knowing it's there for you. You're saying you want it to be there for you. So that's why we do sync it to the cloud. But because we're syncing it to the cloud, we don't have total control over what might happen in the future. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Is there anything else in OneNote that you want to see? If you look through your screen, because I'll say your screen is a little bit different from mine. So if you look through your screen and you see something, let me know. There was something that you would like for me to try because it might be on in my software. I might just have to go to a different place to get it, but let's see if you see something that you want to try, or you can just do some try some things. And if it don't work, let me know. Try adding some pictures, adding some videos.
You did one thing with the drawing. It was the drawing with the audio. I couldn't get it in my OneNote. Can you go over that one more time?
Sure, we'll be glad to. Okay, let's go here and let's say, I think that was in one of my classes. Go to the classes. And the reason I put it in the art is because that's just how I am. I try to structure everything. Okay, if you go, I'm gonna go here, and that's where I'm at right now, where my insert point is at. And I'm gonna actually click on my drawing. And what I want to do is I want to draw, I'm gonna say, to the best of its ability, it's going to try to take what I drew And what I did is I turned it into text, okay? Because text is something I can change, okay? Right now, it's a picture here. That's what I'm, even though it's words, it's a picture. So I want to turn it into an object that can be changed. So we have to grab that. And the tool that we call it the lasso. Do you have a lasso in your thing?
Yes.
Okay. If you choose the lasso, now the hardest part of the lasso is getting things around it because you have to entitle the whole the whole item. So I'm gonna go here, start out as far as you can, and they're gonna flip it over. Ah, see, right now I'm gonna hit the escape here, try to lasso it again, because based on your mouse, wherever your mouse is, and my drawing, so I'm gonna do the lasso again. And I just hit escape to come out of that. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you that. I just did it right quick, like, and lasso that. Okay. In other words, I'm kind of like it's when if you ever use paint, it's kind of like putting a circle, a crop in it. Like a lasso, a crop is the same term, really, truly. Then I'm saying, okay, even though that is ink, meaning I drew it out, I want it to turn it into text. So if you take your ink that you have up here and you go text, and it turns it into words. Okay. The cute thing is, let's say that, and we're gonna try this now. I'm not gonna promise you. I'm gonna use my disclaimer. I don't draw too good, but if you actually, let's say, I'm gonna take my pencil and let's see, I'm gonna draw a flower. Surely I can get a flower drawn pretty good here. Let's see, draw my flower here. This is my flower. Don't laugh at my drawing, Rebecca. And you can actually take that ink, because I drawed it, it's an ink, and you can turn it into a shape. Again, you have to lasso it. In other words, you have to crop it.
Okay.
And once you crop it, and that's the hardest part, getting it cropped, then you can take it and say, okay, I drew it so it was ink. Now I want to make it a shape. So did it do it? Did it go? It didn't go too good. I didn't understand what mine were. But that's another feature that you can do. But it has to really be able to tell what that is. And it evidently can't tell what mine is. Now I know I can
Okay.
I'll do something really simple. I'll do something
Okay.
like a circle and then pop that circle. Oh God, I didn't quite. Well, I did get it, picked it up. And it's not, my feature is not my, I don't know why my ink to shape is not working. Should be working, but my ink to shape is not working. I guess
Okay.
that would be a written, like a circle that's in
Right.
the shape. It'll be in your draw function. In other words, it'll be part of your shape, your items there. Okay. Now, was that what you were trying to do? Take the picture and turn it into text? Was that what you're trying to
Right.
do?
Right. That's what I was trying to do.
Did it ever work?
Yes.
Okay. But
No, it didn't.
it did not?
It didn't. When I tried it earlier, it didn't. So maybe I must.
Yeah, try it again. Let's try.
Okay.
So why my ink to shape is not working?
I tried to do a square, but it didn't change it. So
So you're doing the ink to shape also. So what we're gonna have to do is find
Try the text in.
okay. Let's see. What is it? Let's see the draw. And we want to ink to shape. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. The ink to text is working, but the ink to shape is the one we're having problems with. So let's do it. Go back to our draw. I'm gonna take my glasses off. I'm getting blurry out and I looked at the screen too long. Okay. Go back to our shape. Gotta draw up for the shape. Wow. Or why that wouldn't work. To draw shape that you want. Well, I think we gotta take the basics and draw the shape that we want.
Okay.
Can't lie to it. I know this, so I guess the ink to, I gotta play around it. I'll definitely, if you're gonna be in any other classes, I'll play around with the ink to shape and see what we're doing wrong. I won't fit on there. I've used that function before. Again, your version is different than my version. So, and my version is slowly fading out. So I'm gonna have a lot of things that probably will just slowly stop working. But I will research that for you, and definitely, and you might even get an email from me like, okay, we got it going based on your version, because you're using the new Windows 10 version,
Right.
with the file menu. Okay, I'll play around with that and see what's going with that. Okay.
Okay.
What are some other options? Some other things, and no, and I'm glad you had a chance to work with this, especially since if you've never used it before. It is a really good tool. It's a good tool. Just make notes and send them to yourself anywhere. Try anything else? We couldn't do it. Get it done.
No, this one was pretty simple. I guess I need to go back to the Microsoft.
Okay. I have no problem with that. We will definitely, let me come out of here, close that out. And just remember let me go back in and open my, I'm sorry. I want to delete everything I put in there. I don't like to keep that in there. Let me go back into OneNote. If you don't mind, let me go back into my OneNote and I delete my pages. Because if not, I'll end up having so much stuff in my thing. Pages. I'm going to delete the whole notebook at one time. Delete the section. And that way, when it sync, it'll sync as nothing there, and it'll get everything out of my cloud. So, end up having, every time I do this class, I'll end up having so many things in my cloud. So go ahead and delete that out. Okay, so now I'm gonna sync it, and it's nothing there. So okay, all right, now I'm coming out of there. Now let me get into Word. Okay, tell me what you wanted to do in Word.
I want to kind of just really just slowly go back over this table of contents again.
Okay.
And the bookmarker again.
Okay, so what I'll do is let me go back. I'm just trying to figure out what document is best for me to use for you. Okay. Let me see if I can share it for you. Okay, you see my screen?
I do.
Okay. Now let's start out with the put my glasses back on now. Not like that notebook is all pictures and stuff. It make my eyes glare. But okay. The first thing we're gonna do in table contents. Now, um, I think you probably will, if you have a big document, you probably will need to learn this and really good. So I'm gonna go really slow because it is a tedious function, okay? But once you get it down, it helps you out when your documents grow so big, okay? So the first thing you have to do is say, okay, I'm gonna do a table of contents. So this is gonna go to our reference part. Go to our reference. Pay close attention where your insert point is, because that's where you're going to put your table of contents. So if you have it in the wrong place, it's going to automatically throw everything off automatically. So let's go put our insert point here. We're going to add a table of contents. It asks you which table of contents you want. You know, how do you want it looking? I always want mine to say table of contents. Some people don't, but that's just how I like mine, okay? So it's telling you that this is the style that you're going to use. Okay, so right now, all we did is we put a whole function in Word saying that's where we're going to put our table content. Then the table content is based on each heading or each section that you're going to do. So you highlight the section that you want to show on your table content. Well, I want to show my executive summary. So I highlight my executive summary. And I tell it I'm going to add that. And the first thing it says, well, if it's going to be added, it has to be at a level. What level? Well, based on the one that I chose, I'm going to do the level 1. Okay. So that's going to be the first thing that shows up on my table of content. Then I want to say my second level is going to be my plan that I have. So I select it. Then I add the text. I'm going to add level 1 text. Okay. Then I'm going to do the tentative dates. So I'm going to select them again. And I'm going to add text. But this time I'm going to do a level 2. So that'll be kind of off to this. It's going to be indented a little bit. So I do my level 2. And to make sure that you can see that indentation, I always do, when I do one level, when I do a level 2, I do 2 level 2s usually, because there's a reason why I want them to be standing out. So not the training material is going to be another text, and it's going to be a level 2. And then I'm going to go over here to my general biography. I'll select that, and I'm going to add text and add it at a level 1. Okay. So do you have your document with you? So I tell you what, just do a document and start from scratch with that document and do a bullet 1, 2, 3, 4. Do like 3 different bullets and just press enter in between them, and that way you got like a document. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Matter of fact, let me close this out. I'll do it with you like that, and that way you can see from scratch how it is. I'm just gonna open up a blank Word document. That might help you a little bit instead of me having things already open. Let me just say I'm gonna open up a Word. Okay. Blank document. So I'm gonna share my screen again with you. Share my screen, and I'm gonna share this Word. So my blank document.
I'm getting one right this moment.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, when you get yours, I'm gonna start out with a blank document and show you how. Let's do it step by step. Maybe that'll help you a little bit better.
Okay.
Okay.
I have one now.
Okay. I have my blank document. I'm gonna put in of course, I'll move it down a couple of spaces. I'm gonna put the first thing is gonna be straight. Can't stand this font. I have to do my time Roman. I'm sorry. I changed my fonts over right quick, like, and I'm like, this is my history document. And did this a little bit because I want this history, um, Georgia history, and then I'm gonna do American history. Okay, and this is gonna be my science. And then say social science, uh, nature science, and I'm gonna do my math. It's gonna be algebra. Let's say we have, let's say, basic math. So, so now I know that eventually this is going to be a really big document. So press my enter down, give me a little bit more space. I go back into my reference. So I'm in the reference menu. Okay, if I'm going to do a table of contents, I start out saying, I'm going to do a table of contents. I'm going to choose my type of table of contents. Come on. Like I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose what's going to be in the table of contents. The first thing is going to be the history. So I'm going to add that as a one. Okay. Then I'm going to do under history. Let's say I'm going to put my Georgia. It'll be a level 2. Yeah. It's a level 1. I mean, a level 2 also. I do science. And math. Level 1. Now, then after you choose what you're going to put on your table, then you have to update the table. Okay, so it has everything that I had, and you know history. You see, it is less indented than Georgia and America because Georgia and America was level 2. Okay, did you get that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, right now, it's really a cheat sheet because it's only one page. But what I want to do is I'm going to go down here to American, and I'm going to put some new lines here. And I'm going to insert a page break. Okay. When I insert that page break, that means now my table of contents is not right. So if I look at my table of contents, showing you that everything is on page 1, but I have page 2. So what I want to do then is go back to my reference and update the table. You have different options on the update. You can update it based on the entire table or just the numbers. Well, even though it's just the numbers, let's just do the entire table. You know, and you can do the entire table every time you feel comfortable doing it, you know. So I update it. So now I have my items and I have what pages they are, and the table content has changed with the page.
Okay.
It worked?
Yes, that works.
Okay.
I mean, it's a cleaner version. I can understand it a little bit better. It works.
Yeah. And that's why I said mouse were a little bit too busy. Okay. Help you?
Yes, yes, it
Like I
did.
said, the table content is just an easy way to get to see where put things are and what page. That's really the main reason we have the table of contents. Okay,
Right.
be able to get to it. And if you actually hold your control key down and click on it, it'll take you to those pages. So when you have, for example, like I said, I work on my dissertation, is 180 pages. When I double click it, it might take me to page 50 or 60, and that makes it so much easier to manipulate larger documents.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You have to first get the table of contents down. Now, I'm going to undo everything on this page, and you can save yours so that you can come back to it, but I'm just going to undo the table and everything because I'm going to start out with something really small, just like this I have. A math, what did I have? Now I'm going to go here. Oh, I'm doing what I told you not to do. I'm going to put a page break. History begins. That I can't stand that font. So I just have to. I'm so used to dealing with times that everything else makes I don't know, my eyes just don't look good when I'm writing with that kind of other fonts. So and then I could just say today is history. Our history. Something simple as that. So if I come up here, we're gonna work on bookmark. Okay. What you're doing with bookmark is you have to start out with what do I want to get to? That's what I want to book. I don't want to bookmark where I'm at, but I want to bookmark where I'm always where I always want to go. Okay. So first of all, you have to go into it's part of your insert. Let me see. Menu. So I want to go history begins here. That's what I want to bookmark. That's where I want to be at. Okay, so I select where I want to go. Okay, and then I click on bookmark. Okay, and I name that bookmark, and I'm going to name it something really easy. Is history. Okay, so now if I ever want to go to history and I'm on page, if it's a page 500 and I'm on page 1 and I want to go to history, by default, the way I'm doing it now, all I have to do is go back to my home and click on my find, and on the find you'll see go to, and you tell it, well, I want to go somewhere. Where I want to go to is to a bookmark. It's a bookmark I want to go to. So then if I click on go to, it's going to go to where that bookmark is at.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's not the way I would want you. That's a simple way to get there. But after you get used to bookmarking, what you really should do is have a link to it, because somebody's reading your paper, you want them to be able to get to a section quickly. You know what I'm saying? You don't want them to have to go into the go-to and all of that. So what you really need to do is take what you have, like this history, and you want to create a link. And what I did is I right click, I went on link, okay, and I'm going to link it to wherever my bookmark is at. The part that I'm going to list is history, and then I do okay. I do okay here. So now when I hit now it's linked to that. So now when I press control and I click on it, it takes me to history. And that's how you really want to use your bookmark, because as your document gets really big and people reading your document and they're like, okay, I wonder what did she really say about history? That person can get over there quickly without having to go to any other menu and read what you said about history. Okay.
Okay.
So did you do it? Let's try to do that for a couple of minutes to make sure you can do that. Because those are really some
Okay.
good business essential features that makes it easy for you and easy for your reader that's reading your document that a lot of people don't know and don't use. And a lot of times it'll help you a lot. Be very professional. So if you can add that, play around with that and see. And then
Okay.
when we finish that, we're gonna do a document to a document. Okay, did you get that to work?
Uh, kind of, sort of.
What's wrong?
I guess because mine it's a little bit different. I went to insert, and then I have to go on the links to find bookmark, and when I get the bookmark, I put in retire, and I added it, but then I guess you check location or name, and
Okay,
I guess I got to play around with it a little bit more.
okay. I'm trying to see. Anybody else having problems? Or y'all okay? Y'all just working on what you want to work on? I think they were going to lunch, but coming right back, want to pick something up. Okay. I'll do one more thing and then I'll do a file. Okay, just make sure you add it. So here I'm gonna put another page breaker here. Sorry, page break. Let me see. I forgot what I named everything. Let me go back up here. It was history. I'm gonna do a science page. So this is my science info. Science information. My document. And what I want to do is bookmark wherever the page that starts science. So I have to go to the page that's where I want to go to. I want to go to science. I'm gonna do it all over again. So I would make sure you select the science, okay? Select your science.
Okay.
Under your insert creed should be bookmarked. So you should be able just to click on it and automatically bookmark it, okay? When you click on it, it brings that dialog box down. Now, this you might be doing this. Make sure that you can where it say the word history right here, you backspace over that because you got to type it save a different name, okay? But you're not deleting the one
Okay.
that you have. Is that what you recommend? Or that the dialog box could be messing you up. Okay, so
Well,
now
yeah,
I'm
because
gonna
I didn't delete anything. Once that
yeah
name came up, I figured it was there, so I didn't. I just said
yeah
way?
no, that's the original. That's this one. So here I will put science and add it, and now I'll have 2 bookmarks. Okay. So then I'm going to go back up here to the top, this main list here. Okay. Go up here to the top of the main list. I'm going to do home and go do my find. So that's my go-to. Now you'll notice here when I do my go-to and I do my bookmark, I have a drop down because I have more than one thing bookmarked. So now you have options. Okay, first you only have one. Now you have options. So you click on, I'm gonna click on the science, and then I'm gonna click on go-to, and it'll take me to this. So that's probably one of the steps in the what you mentioned. In the dialog box, you have to name it. If you don't ever name it, it's still gonna use whatever bookmark you have, because you only had one bookmark, and that was the first one that we created. Okay. So now it took me to science. I didn't like the way I went to science. So when you do a bookmark, the second, even though it doesn't, when you first talk about it, all they talk about is using the go-to to do it. That's not the professional way to go to it. Not if you're going to have other people reading your document. So what we want to do is we want to highlight science. Okay. Right click on it. Add a link. Type of link that we're going to add is a bookmark. So we have to go to bookmark. Okay. Now, because we've had more than one bookmark, you get to choose. So the bookmark that we're going to use is the science bookmark. Okay, here. So now you notice that it's linked. Press Control and hit click. Now it takes you to the science.
Okay.
Got that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, a lot of times we have multiple files, multiple things that we, the history was something that I did this time and I did it that time. So I got a file already set. So to me, once we get here, let's say I click on history, it takes me down to here, and history tells me what I'm doing for today, but I also got another document that I can read. So once I get here, I can actually go to another document that's outside of this Word document. So you can actually select this item here. And what I want to do is link it to a document that I've just created. So I go into my insert link, find that document. So that document is actually so file list. It's right here. So now let's start from the top. Okay, I'm up here. I'm reading. I said, okay, let me find out what the history section is. So I do my control, click to go to the history section. I read whatever's in the history section. I want to read a little bit about history. Well, I have a document. I can tell that I have a document. So I do control and click here. All right, it's trying to tell me it's safe. It is safe. Yes, I know. Now this is a good feature. I'm glad this happened. When you grab documents and you bring them in, you can bring in a virus. What this is saying is, how you sure that file that you had is not a virus? So you're okay to use that file. And mine's okay, so I said yes, because that's my file I created. And in my file, I have a file that said this is my history file. Okay. So really, you can keep, and you have to be careful because you can keep linking things together. But the reason that security warning came up, that's the quickest way for someone to get you on a virus. If they have a document and you're reading the document and it's like, oh, that makes sense. And they say, well, click on here to hear more about it. When you click on here, they can have hidden viruses, and a virus package won't capture that hidden virus because it's embedded in a document that's really and truthfully a good document. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really be careful. So as long the more I teach, the more I also bring up security issues to you, because we do have security risks when we start adding different things. But you can link and keep linking and go 10 files deep if you want to. Okay. So I'm going to close this. So did that help you?
Yes, because that was the next question I was going to ask about. Can I go outside that document and, look for other things in like another document? Say, like
Yes.
I'm always looking for something in the minutes, so that
Yes,
helps.
that will definitely be able to do it. Now this is in Word, so it's not going to go to the cloud. Okay, so what you're doing when you have this document, if you're going to link to a document, you either want to have it on a URL or you want to have it on your hard drive saved. You can go to a shared OneDrive, but it has to be your OneDrive. You can't just go over and pick something out of somebody else's, because you have to be able to log into their drive. You know what I'm saying? So if
Yes.
you have something that's on their drive that you want, they can share it to you and pull it down, and then you save it on your drive and then link it to that drive. And that's just a security thing. Okay. Whereas cloud, when you're in cloud, you can hit any the way it's done, because you already permission, you have signed in as a cloud user, so it knows how your security level. Okay. So that's why you have to be careful on that. Okay. Any other function that we went over that you?
I'm good. You went over the ones that I was having trouble with, and I'm going to practice them. So hopefully
Okay.
when we meet again next week, maybe you may have 5 or 10 minutes for me to run through that and make sure that I, finally got it right.
Definitely. Next week we're doing Excel, and I hope you enjoy. Do you know a lot about Excel? Do you use Excel?
Excel, not that much, especially when it comes to doing the formulas that.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I will we'll work on that. But yeah, if you sign up for that class, I'm glad you did. I'll do Excel, but I always will step back and show you something that you need to know, or something. So don't be, doing the breaks, even if within the break when they're working on something else. Don't be. Send me a chat and I'll do it for you. No problem with that. Anybody else on? Did everybody go to lunch? I think they went to lunch. Let's see. I'm gonna send out chat to see if everybody okay. Chat, because sometimes they're listening, but they're also trying to do. I realize this is doing work day, but this is how she wanted it, and a lot of times it's hard to commit to not looking at your computer and like looking at your emails and doing other things while you're trying to train. It's really hard to do that. So I'm send out an email. A chat to see if it was anybody else. So if you try one of those things, or the notebook things, and you can't get them to work, you can send me. Let me put I'm gonna put out my email again. I was waiting to see if they came back from lunch. I had to shut it down without.
I think they may still be at lunch.
Probably still there. About 10 till anyway. So okay, Rebecca, I really appreciate you participating in the class. I hope you learned a lot. Like I said, we've covered Word and very in depth. But if it's things that you want me to add, if you find about some features that that you want to add to it, let me know. For some things that we covered that you struggle with, that you still find yourself not being able to do, just email me, and the next class period I'll definitely cover it. I'll cover it either before we start the section or when we're on a break. I'll cover that section. OneNote the same way. Just remember, based on what machine you're on with OneNote, it might be a little bit different because each one has a different version of it. So make sure, even though I'm on Windows 10, and I think you're on Windows 10, our version is still different. But it's not that big a deal, but it could. I will research one of the things that we were having problem with your OneNote with.
Okay.
And find this, go from ink to from picture to ink. See what was that? I'll do a research on that for, and how that feature is not working. Next, like I said, next week is, I think it's Excel. I want to make sure, see the Excel or PowerPoint, but I think it's Excel. Let me look at my notes a quick like. Yes, the next week is Excel. We do 2 days of Excel on Thursday and Friday. Excel, we can get as deep as we want to get, or as, because Excel does some good things. It, like you said, it does formulas, it does pivot tables, it does merging, it does a lot. So it
Right.
is a formula based, you have a number based spreadsheet. It's a spreadsheet that's based on numbers, really. Even though you can put tables and people and names and things in it like that, it's big. It's known for its formulas, being able to create formulas and make things easier. I know a lot of people and we're gonna go into Quicken is the application that y'all want to use. But a lot of the functions that you do in Quicken, you can actually do in Excel without actually having access to Quicken. Okay, so make sure you ready for your questions. Up and bring it up. I'm very interactive when we do our Excel. We're gonna do a lot of functions, a lot of adding, subtracting, or if function. An if function means if something is less than something, we're gonna color it red or color it blue or make it stand out. So we're gonna do all of that, which is very techy, but it's easy to do. But it makes your spreadsheets very professional. And I'm glad she chose that one as one of the business essential functions she wanted you to learn. Mm-hmm.
Can you send us like a table or something? The one that you're working on, I think it's a little bit better if I have something that we're all working on the same thing. Because when I try to find something to pull up, it's not. I guess that could be a problem too. So
Okay, so and well, I do have this in PowerPoint, but it was hard for me to actually share both pages, the PowerPoint and this. So what I'll do is before I start my next class, I will send her the PowerPoint and let her send that out to anybody that's registered. Where you can be looking at the PowerPoint and I can be doing it and you looking at the PowerPoint at the same time. Because that's what I was telling. If you had dual monitors, and then that's what we thought about, most people wouldn't have dual monitors. But if you had dual monitors, what the best thing that could happen is that you have my PowerPoint that's telling you what I'm doing, in other words, and then actually being able to see me do it. So what I'll do is I'll actually send that PowerPoint document to her on probably Wednesday night or Thursday morning, so that she can send it out to everybody that's in the group. So that way That way you can know what I'm working with, okay? Because most of mine, when it comes to Excel, I'm gonna start with a blank spreadsheet, okay? But in
Oh,
PowerPoint, I'm
okay,
gonna tell you how to go because you're gonna have to build them up. You gotta build up. You
okay.
gotta build up from the columns and rows before you can actually use a formula. You gotta know how to put the information in and how to make sure that the information can look like a number to you, but it's really not a number. It can't be used for functions. It can't be used for addition and subtract. So those are the things that I want to do. So we're going to start with a spreadsheet, just a blank spreadsheet, okay? But I'll give you time as we go. You typing in that spreadsheet, building on that spreadsheet, and learning things, okay? But I do have PowerPoint presentation of my presentation so you can see, and I have a screenshot of what your screen should look like so that you can see it. Because it might be a little bit hard for you to see it on the screen than if you had it here. But I am gonna, when we first start, and the first PowerPoint I show you will be just a empty spreadsheet. Okay.
Okay, okay.
All right. No one else sent out a chat. So I'm assuming that they didn't come back. So unless you have any other questions, and if you do, please tell me, I'll definitely keep working with you. Are you okay?
I don't have any more.
Okay, well, we will meet again Thursday morning, 9 o'clock. We're going to be doing Excel, okay?
Okay,
All right, thank you so much for your time.
okay, thank you.
You